Yo, how's it going, guys? Today I'm filming alongside Team DLR's Matt, and we got a special deck profile for you. We've got the first place winner from this past weekend's Toronto Regionals. We've got Jonathon with us, and he piloted FLOOWANDEREEZE. So Jonathon, why don't you show us the goo?
Yeah, definitely. So I won the regional, and it was a lot of fun. It was 9 rounds. I went XO into round 8. My only loss was to Triff Gaming in the finals. That being said, I was the only XO in the final round as well. So even losing, I still took the whole thing home. So I'll show you my deck profile. I'll explain some of the cards I play and some cards that I don't play. And yeah, without further ado. So for the monsters, I think this is pretty self-explanatory. 3 Rabina, 3 Eagle, 1 Street, and 1 Token. I think the second Street is not needed, and I would not play the second Street. I think it's kind of a brick. Kind of have to think of these as just extenders, and extenders that you can always access after turn 1 or turn 2. For the other monsters, 1 Berry Statue is kind of obvious. The 1 Ryza, the 1 Apex Avion, and 2 Empen. I would always play 2 Empen. 2 Empen is the way to play the deck, I think. I think that you have to think of the second Empen as somewhat like of a different role than the first one. Like the first Empen is how you sort of start playing, but the second Empen lets your deck do more things. It lets you cycle through all of the birds. None of Empen's effects are once per turn as well. So the fact that you can, if you draw 1, you can use 2 Empens on your turn and get more cards, I think is very useful. And I was thinking about playing 2 Ryza, but I wouldn't do it right now. Maybe if the meta shifts, I would consider that.
It's also like totally optional to just play Empen, at least at the regionals for you.
Oh yeah, in one of my rounds, I accidentally sided out 2 Empen by accident. I usually side 1 out going second, but I'm trying to fit more cards in my side deck, and I saw the other Empen, and I said, oh, I'll take it out. I still won that game though, but I was sweating trying to find the Empen in my deck with Eagle. But that's okay, we take those. I have the 3 Shifter as the best hand trap in the game. There's no reason.
Favorite card.
Yeah, no reason to not play. This is the best card in the game, best hand trap in the game, and the only hand trap that I main. And I think that if your deck can play it, you should play it. And those are all the monsters. For the spells, I played 3 Duality, 3 Prosperity, and 1 Extravagance. I think this is one of the reasons why this deck can compete. Just having like the 6 pots alone means that you see your side cards. It means that you like sculpt your hands to beat whatever's in front of you. Even going second, like these cards are still quite good. The Extravagance I wanted to add because even with the 6 pots, the deck can be kind of bricky. You kind of can get combinations of cards that don't do anything. And also, like the pot of Extravagance is great ash bait, especially in a regional when nobody knows what you're playing. You start with this, the chance of them ashing it is pretty high. So I think that's pretty good. And the fact that these 2 like technically conflict with each other doesn't always come up. I'd rather draw into a Prosperity plus another good card than not draw at all. So that's my reasoning there. And the +1's cool too. Other spells, 3 Advent and 3 Map. I mean, that's kind of obvious. 1 Terraforming. I didn't play Gold Sarcophagus because Map is more important, I think, than any just random bird. Because just Gold Sarcophagus only plays around Ash, but then that's it. Like you have the bird, you summon it, but then that's it. Map is like good on the turn after, it applies pressure to your opponent, so the Terraforming is more important. And with the Terraforming, I actually played 1 set rotation and 3 Mystical Mind. Yeah, I know. The card is not the most popular card in the meta, but the theory with FLOOWANDEREEZE is like the deck cannot just trade 1 for 1 with your opponent. Like going second into a board, you just can't. Like you have really 2 plays. You have normal summon bird and Map. And that will lose to a Chi-Xiao Baron, or it will lose to a Chi-Xiao and the Longyang Synchro, or it loses to a lot of things. So you need cards like this to help you play. And during the regional, I never Mystic Minded to deck out, or Mystic Mind and like asked, do you have an out, can we just go? Mystic Mind was really more about allowing me to do my combo safely and letting my engine do what it does best, which is like recur and be like be sort of infinitely recurable and lock the field out. And then I could get rid of the Mystic Mind with my own map or other ways. The Set Rotation was probably the best card in my deck, actually. I think that you have to be, because Floowandereeze is an anti-meta deck, like it can never be the best deck because it's, ideally you have to just change it with the meta. I got Zombie Worlded like a lot in the regional. I got Zombie Worlded at least 4 or 5 times, and Set Rotation is one of my outs. Set Rotation is also probably the best out to Zombie World because it's a quick play, and it actually has a nifty line of text that says if any of the cards set with Set Rotation are on the field, your opponent can't activate field spells. So you can chain this to Banshee, and it will resolve without effect. So that's really cool. So yeah, Set Rotation was really good. I think everybody should be maining it.
So going back to, you said Mystic Mind's not popular in the meta.
Oh, it's not.
Very popular.
I meant it's
not with the players.
It's not popular with the
Yes.
players, but yeah. But I thought that it was really good.
Yeah.
Similarly, I had to play 3 Dark Ruler no more as well. I tested a lot of things. I tested more hand traps. I tested imperms, and none of them gave me the same utility as Dark Ruler no more. You have to be able to play. You have to be able to just safely go into a board. This is one of the only cards that does it. But like I said, because this is an anti-meta deck, depending on how the format changes with new sets, this might be, and Mystic Mind might not be the play. I played 1 Unexplored Winds. I think that this is fairly standard, but some deck profiles have been getting rid of this. I think like the DB, yeah, the DB Grinder actually played Floowandereeze at a regional like a month ago or something, and on his channel said that if he had access to it, he would replace this with a second Extravagance. But I think that doesn't make any sense. This card like applies so much pressure on your opponent. Just activating Unexplored Winds means your opponent has to do something about it, especially into like Despia. Like they have to early brand it in red, or else they'll lose to this. It's good going second, especially in conjunction with Mystic Mind and Dark Ruler. It's one of the only ways Floowandereeze can like dismantle the board effectively as well. And it's also a pseudo-consistency card because you can, it allows you to put 2 Winged Beasts on the bottom of your deck and then draw 2. And they're not, what's it called? They're not like random draws. So if you Ryza your 1 Shifter in your graveyard and put it on the top, you can draw back into it, or you can draw into another pod or something like that. So I did that a lot, and that was really cool. For the last 3 cards, I played 1 Feather Duster. You need it to out skill drain and other cards like that. 1 Call by the Grave, and 1 Dreaming Town. That's it for the main deck.
What are your thoughts on Scary Sea?
I think Scary Sea is like the definition of a win more card. The thing with Scary Sea, to use it, you have to already have a Tribute Summon monster. You have to, it's generally only a 1 of, so then you have to use your Empen Search to get it. And like that means you don't have this for follow-up. So then it's like, if you would rather search Scary Sea than Dreaming Town, your hand is already probably so good that it doesn't even matter if your opponent can or cannot summon from the extra deck. So that's kind of my theory there. It's kind of a weird card in that respect. If it just required maybe just a Winged Beast or just a Floowandereeze, might be a little bit different, but for sure. Yeah, it'd be a lot better then, but no, this is definitely, like, you always need this card. This is the best card in the deck, I think. I'll go through the extra deck first. Extra deck did in fact come up in the regional. I did in fact summon a Zeus. We'll start with the links. Nightmare Phoenix, Anima, Conductor was the Wind Charmer. I got a little spooked because Team VLR's Matt was going to give me one, but I had to submit the deck list before. So like I said, I got spooked. Farigit and an Omen. You need this to out Anti-Spell or Zombie World or something like that. You should have 1 Link 1, either Link Kariba or this. Nobody respects the zoning in Floowandereeze, so this actually has come up in locals. Harpy Conductor, I think, is objectively correct because it's the only Winged Beast monster that's a Link monster. So if you get Mystic Mind and you can't out it, you can turn your Barrier Statue and your Empen into this, set Advent, and on your opponent's turn, you can Advent it away, and then that outs their Mystic Mind. These 2 cards could possibly come up if you get, like, you can summon these, first of all, but if you get, like, Max Mist or whatever, you can summon this. This is actually kind of cool. I have summoned this in locals to out 3000 Final Sigma, and then a Crash, and then I get a Bird Search. That was pretty cool, but it didn't come up in the regional. Otherwise, I played 1, 2, and 3 of the Lyralist monsters. Nightingale is, to attack directly to make easy Zeus. Recital Starling is if you want to do the Zeus play, but you need a bird search first, so then you can get that. And Prominent Thrush is an out to Zombie World or other floodgates, because you can, its effect is basically you detach a material and target a spell or trap and shuffle it back into the deck. But since it's a winged beast, you can target skill drain, chain advent, it dodges that, dodges imperm. So that's pretty cool too. This didn't come up. I did assembled into Downerd, into Zeus. I played 2 Zeus because they're both ulti. No, I'm just joking. I played 2 Zeus because I have Extrav, and this is the only one I really wanted more of. But yeah, I did summon a Zeus to out Zombie World, and it was really cool. And it led me to win the game. So I think that, if you're a FLOOWANDEREEZE player, do not, don't sleep on Zeus, don't sleep on your extra deck. It's something you can use. Otherwise, I played 1 Underworld, Goddess of the Closed World. This is actually 100% necessary. It's the only way you can out a rival at Ignister or other unaffected monsters like that. So I think that you need to play this. And it has come up in locals before, but not at the regional. And the last 3 cards were Maximus targets. Did I think I was going to get Maximus at this event? No. But at a regional, I think that you probably should have cards like this to play. Somebody actually activated Nadir Servant against me, and I thought it's happening, but he was under shifter, so he couldn't activate it anyway. But yeah, and this has come up in locals. All these cards have come up, so the fact that they have come up, even if it's 1 in 20 or 50 games, means that I think that they're worth playing.
You have the space one.
And you definitely have the space. I mean, it's not just 15, pot of extravagance and prosperity cards, because if you can summon it, you should. And I'll go into the side deck. I sided 3 Token Collector. I actually think that Sword Soul is one of the hardest matchups against this deck, especially going second. I only played 1 Sword Soul, ironically, at the regional, but that was in round 8, so he was very highly ranked. And I did draw this with Shifter, and it was disgusting, but it was great. The fact that Token Collector is a card that can be tributed is another important thing too. So it combos with Eagle. If you only have Eagle and Token Collector, that is a combo. So that's really good. Played 1 DD Crow. I wanted to main it, but I'm already at 41 cards, and I didn't want to make it 42. I thought DD Crow was I only brought it in against Despia or decks that I knew DD Crow would be good with. I played 1 Cosmic Cyclone and 3 Mystical Space Typhoons. So some of this theory came from a YouTuber called Dernier Match on YouTube. He's actually #1 rated on DB, and he plays this deck. So some of this theory came from him. So the fact that the Mystical Space Typhoon doesn't lose to Lancia, but Lancia is not very common in this format anymore. But the whole point of this card is to out Floodgates and Zombie World. I would actually side this against Sword Soul going, all 4 of these, Sword Soul going second, because I was afraid of Anti-Spell, I was afraid of cards like that. Even Blackout can be good as well. But yeah, if I went into a deck that I thought could send Banshee, play Zombie World, this would go in going second, and it came up almost every time. So this is really good. I played the the Change of Heart. Change of Heart is actually so good. It's actually really, really, really good. It did come up during the tournament to steal an Appaloosa, and then I used it to I comboed, and I used his Appaloosa to negate his Effect Veilers and Ash Blossoms. So that was really good. Now you might ask, well, Jonathan, if Change of Heart's so good, why didn't you play Mind Control in the last format? Mind Control has a problematic line of text that says the monster that you take cannot be tributed, which is very sad for me. So I wanted to play it, but if you can't tribute the monster, it's no good. So Change of Heart's really good. And Change of Heart was an MVP in the Sword Soul matchup, because even if they know you're playing FLOOWANDEREEZE, right, they'll do Chenying. Generally, they'll do not Chenying. Sorry, the Longyang Synchro, Chixiao, Blackout, and Change of Heart outs that. You take their Longyang Synchro, you attack into Chenying, and then their Blackout is dead, and then you can use it to tribute or banish their things as well. So I thought that this was really good, really great card. Would not main it because it's too hard going second, but very good. I played 3 Featherstorm, one of those really good auto win cards. There's some theory around this card saying like when this card is used, like you probably were already going to win the game anyway. And I do see that. Like if you already have like if you tribute summon a monster, you have the Wind-Wing Beast, you probably were going to win anyway. I only drew this one time, and I did in fact lose that game. But you know, I could see myself changing this to like Judgment or a card that'll stop evenly matched, or Lightning Storm, or a Blowout, or something like that. But I just thought for regional, this is quite a safe pick, and I'm going to keep testing with
I mean,
it.
at least it's live even if you draw like a little bird.
It's
like,
true.
It's stop, it's still.
So the one that
for a turn at least, right?
yeah. So the one I lost was against Triff. I opened Map Eagle this card. He had double hand trap. He had Ogre for the map, and he had Ash for the Eagle. So I set this. I lived for the next turn and drew unplayable and then lost it. So, but it did in fact give me the one turn. So who knows? And then the last 3 cards I played, 3 Ash Blossom, Joy Spray. So Ash Blossom is a great side card in this deck. It's actually the only hand trap I would consider maining, but I decided to side it because the only time I really side in Ash Blossom, or like the theory around it, was to side it against Despia, because I really just want Branded Fusion to not resolve, and not even because I don't like Mirror Jade or Trickus Tapelia or whatever, or any of those cards. I really just don't want them to send Banshee. Banshee is the only thing that's like really stops this deck, so I want them to not resolve that and not have that. Otherwise, I was thinking instead of this, I would play Retaliating Sea, which does kind of the same thing, right? And it's a tribute. But I thought for a regional, this was much more generic, and I was able to side this for like, you know, other more rogue matchups. Like I played some Eldritch decks and things like that. So I thought that this was really good. And yeah. And that is the deck profile. Like I said, I got first place at the regional. Just wanted to shout out, of course, Barracks Bear and Team VLR.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
I'm really happy to. It was really a great day. All the boys were there. I'm happy to provide both your channels with some great content, and I hope to be on the channel more. So thanks so much for the opportunity, guys.
No shout out for Team Eldritch Gaming. Cruel world.
No shout out for your fellow Flu members.
Oh, you know what? I actually need to shout out one more person. I need to shout out New Realm Games, for which we are recording at this locals. It's locals in Vaughan, Ontario, and absolutely
30 Famous Avenue.
absolutely excellent locals. Chase is a stand-up individual. I bought a lot of the cards for this deck from here as well, and he's got some of the best prices. The locals is very friendly, so definitely come by. And that's a wrap. Thanks.